The Unofficial Lounge with Ashante, Crayvon, and Monty. We're here to give you the insight into some of the biggest plays you remember, involving the people wearing the stripes. We look at the grit it takes to become an official while exploring the history of officiating with the people who made it. It's more than black and white. On this episode of the Unofficial Lounge, we have Coach Sean. Coach goes into what his fitness philosophy is for his clientele.
The way I educate my people, I train them trying to pretty much make myself obsolete. You know, I teach my clients to train themselves. And I think that's important because I'm only with them for so much of the time. You know, so they got to learn how to go on their own. And then once they learn that, then they go on their own. And cool, you know, they'll go off for, you know, a few months or a year or so, then they'll come back for upgrades, you know, their workouts, and they do that. That's sort of how it works.
It's a long journey, but Coach Sean is there to guide you.
It's my job as a trainer to find that. And once I find what your body is really capable of doing, then that's when we push it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Unofficial Lounge. We are kicking off our great season 2 with a very special guest. Like we said on Unofficial Lounge, it's not just about officiating, it's about everything around it. So we are welcomed today by Coach Sean, who works with the Big Ten along with other conferences, training football officials. And he's also a personal trainer doing this thing for many, many years, which we're going to talk to him more and more about. But please welcome to the Unofficial Lounge, Coach Sean.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite. Happy to be here.
Hey, happy to have you. Sorry you got to be on with the angry vegetarian, Ashanti. But
hey, man,
it's all right.
This is how people get profiled. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm misrepresented, but we're not gonna start this show off with smoke because I do have a bone to pick with Coach Sean.
That sounds like smoke. That sounds like smoke.
Okay. What I do for you, man? What I do?
I ain't gonna talk about it now because I'm gonna try to big you up before I bring you down. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, all right. I'll take that too.
Coach Sean, tell us a little bit about your background before officiating came into it and everything. What is your background that brought you into the sports medicine, the personal training world?
Oh man, when I went to Ashland University where I competed in track and field, and I did pretty good with that, and I decided it took me a year or so to figure out which field I wanted to go into. I knew I wanted to do something. I wanted to teach something non-traditional, and so I got into let's go into sports medicine. Something that's going to help me to help athletes with injuries or sort. And so in 5.5 years, I majored in recreation administration and sports medicine. And when I graduated, I started coaching, and I figured that would be good place for me to do some more non-traditional training. And then I started doing personal training as well, got my certification. But I really got into personal training one summer when I winter. I trained in Florida, and one of my boys that I stayed with. He was a personal trainer. I knew nothing about it. He said, Sean, I'm going to take you to this, my gym. I got a couple of clients to train. And we go to the gym, and he's sitting there, and he have a session with this guy, and this guy gives him money. I'm like, dude, this guy gives you money for taking you through all that torture? I'm like, I never knew that happened. I never knew that existed. My coach do all this torture for me, and he actually pays you for this. And he's like, yeah, it's personal training. And he's like, Sean, you should be able to do this. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, if they're going to pay me to do this, I'm in. And so it's like, and no longer than that, a few months later, I got my certification, and, I started, personal training at a facility. And at the same time, I was competing, track and field, traveling. I was competing in a few Olympic trials, was alternate for 2 of them. But yeah.
Hold up.
So
we
can you
skip that, bro.
Yeah, there we go. What was the event?
Yeah, what event?
Long jump.
Oh, damn. All right.
The long jump was my event. So
okay. So what was your personal best?
Yeah, there you go.
My personal best was 27.5.
Okay.
20 feet, about 5 inches. And it was good. It was very good experience that I had, sort of learned a lot in competing. And I pretty much retired from competing in 2006.
Did you retire? It retired you. There's a difference, Coach.
No, I retired. Hey, when I started jumping like a scrub, and that's when I knew it was time for me to put up my cleats. I'm like, okay, I got. So
you was jumping them 22s, and that's when you realized it was time to go.
It was time to go. But you know what though? Usually when athletes retire, they let their bodies retire. The meaning like an injury, knee issues, Achilles injuries.
Right.
And I told myself, okay, I probably could have still competed. And I'm like, I'm going to leave this sport to look like I've done something. Because, a lot of people, they leave, with severe injury, and you look at them a couple of years, like, you did what? You're gimping and limping. And because, when you push your body so much, then what that'll do is, I have a training career that I want to continue to do. I want to be healthy enough to do it. So I think I retired on good terms, and it was all good.
So what I heard, Coach Sean, was that them Olympic training, they don't get paid a lot to do that stuff.
No, it's not. I mean, every track athlete that you see, we all have side gigs. And at that time I was coaching, which is the perfect. Doing that in personal training was like the perfect thing to do because, for one, it keeps me in the gym. Until you have support around. I mean, when I coached and I was competing, the kids that I coached, they actually helped coach me. So, there'll be some practice that I'll do my little jumps and they'll critique me, and as well as them. And it made a great relationship. And in anything that you do, if you're a coach, if you're a student of your sport, you're going to get better. And that's what I taught them, to do that by watching me. Even though I was a coach, I still have flaws in the things that I had, and that's sort of what they learned by. So but it was good. I mean, it was a good deal there. But it would be hard for somebody to maybe do track and field and say they have to, have an office job. I mean, that will make it really, really tough because they got to go change clothes and all that stuff too. But we try to make it work in any way we can with that. But in due time, I'm happy with everything that came about with my track career and everything that I've done there.
So when you was doing this, you was still at the crib, right? You was in Ohio, or you were?
I was in Ohio. Yeah, after my first year of when I graduated from Ashland University, I actually moved to Kansas. And believe it or not, Kansas, because my coach actually moved there. He had a head coach at this school called Baker University, and in this small town, probably 15 minutes south from Lawrence, Kansas, where University of Kansas is. And so, I trained there. I mean, I was barely there because I competed, so I did a lot of traveling and coached and stuff like that. But it was a good situation from that time on. And as I, pursued through, I was there for 2 years. Then I ended up moving back to Ohio, and pretty much, was here, until the time being. So it's kind of good to get away a little bit, but I'm pretty much back in Ohio now.
And you said something that's different. Like, what's the difference? You said you went and got certified trainer. What's the difference between the certificate have to go through your certification as opposed to me just telling somebody I can train you?
I'm swole. Look at me coming to the gym. I'm swole. Come listen to me.
Well, usually what happens is it's all about. I mean, you got to have the paper to prove you can do the job.
Gotcha.
And in terms of certification, you got to have that certification. It surprises me that there are a lot of gyms that do hire trainers that are not certified. I'm like, really? And there's some people that know knowledge and everything. There's people that know stuff. But if I have somebody that I'm subcontracting to do something for me, they're going to be certified. And that's a liability issue. That's an insurance issue that you want to make sure if you have somebody that's going to do some work for you, just make sure that they're certified. That makes a huge difference in sort of their knowledge base versus call it like a street smart knowledge base. It's an ever changing industry.
So you don't want to get the Home Depot type guys outside of the gym, like, hey, bro,
people, man, people are always, they always got something to say. But I tell you one thing, what I do too, there's people that say stuff, but I listen to them. They always want to put a challenge. They'll look at me up and down and say, okay, let me see what this guy knows. Sean, you should try this exercise. You can just stand on one hand and do push-ups. I'm like, dude, I'm 6'2". I'm not 5'3" like you. I can't do that stuff. My center of gravity is different, so it's like different challenges. They always throw on me. Have you heard of this workout, that workout? Yeah, I've heard of it, but it doesn't mean it works for me or works for my clients. So I get that, everyone. And I usually accept the challenge, and some majority of the time I put them in their place in terms of if things work for the general public or for a certain individual.
I can say that I like, even just watching you train, I think you one of the few trainers who, what I'm saying, probably when you probably grew up playing sports, they just push you until you exhausted everything. And I think you're one of the few that, even if I was training, you was training me, I'd tell you, nah, bro, we ain't doing this. And you're like, all right, we'll work on you today, bro, but you got to give me more.
Yeah. I mean, and that depends upon the age of the individual. Usually, with my younger clients, I can push them a little bit more because, they have, young body, young bones,
ego,
and they want to get better. They don't know their limits. But as we get older, like in terms of when I work with football officials, I mean, you guys know what you guys got to do in terms of your fitness, but there's only so far you can push yourselves. And that's, one of the big values of having a trainer, because, you may think, okay, I'm going to put this 225 on this bench press and press this thing a couple of times and think this is going to make me run fast. No, you're just going to bust up your shoulders. I mean, that's not going to determine anything in terms of trying to, use your ego to lift heavy. I mean, there's certain things that people can do. And if you're capable of doing them, I say do them to the best of your ability. I'm 46. Push yourselves to do something that your body's probably not capable of doing, because everybody's different. Everybody's body chemistry is different in everything that you do. And it's my job as a trainer to find that. And once I find what your body's really capable of doing, then that's where we push it. I mean, if you can't do squats, I find another exercise that you can do and do well and push it in that area.
And because that's another thing too, because which interests with your story, because you're training these kids. So what led you to go to the officiating realm part of it?
Oh, that was, I tell you, it's almost like being at the right place at the right time. When I was training at my facility, Springside Athletic Club in Akron, there was an NFL official that was there, and he was looking for a trainer. Yeah, so his name was John Perry, and he said he needed somebody that's going to help him. He had multiple injuries here and there, and he really wanted to work to avoid a lot of the injuries. And so we started training, and biggest thing that I worked on him was his movement form, and he never heard of that. I mean, it's like, man, I never thought that my movement would cause a lot of issues. So we had a lot of ankle issues, a lot of ankle issues, and just teaching him how to move, preventing him how to overstride or bringing that back foot back. And then he looked at me and said, Sean, you're different. He said, you're different than a lot of other trainers, because what tends to happen with officials, if they're being nagged by certain injuries, they'll go year after year they'll get in shape, and they come back and they hurt themselves. They come back in better shape, and they end up hurting themselves, and they can't really find what's really bothering them. And a lot of times, if that's the case, it's their movement. It's the movement, it's their foot strike, it's the angle that they create. Usually that will, put the unnecessary pressures on the body. And that's a similar story that I had when I was in college. I mean, it's like the same exact thing. And so I can relate to what John Perry was going through. Actually, my freshman year in college, I, trained, got through, did pretty well, but I hurt myself. I ended up hurting my hamstring. And second year, same thing. I hurt my hamstring, and it was frustrating because the coaches said, well, you got to get your hamstring stronger the next year. And I did. I got my hamstring strong, so there was no excuse. And then even after my sophomore year, I did that. And in junior year, same thing. I pulled my hamstring, and it's like frustrating. Even though I'm going further and further along in my season, it's still frustrating because I don't know why my hamstring is hurting or pulling every time. So the following year, there was a coach. We had a new staff on our team, and he watched me run. He knew my story. He's like, this is Sean. He pulls his hamstring all the time. We just think he's not strong enough. And what he did, he watched my running form, and he was like, this is why you're pulling your hamstring. So you're an overstrider. And what happens is when you overstride, it puts a lot of pressure on your hamstring. This is what you're doing. And it's crazy, which is good. In a matter of a few weeks, my hamstring was pretty much healed up. Until this day, I don't have a hamstring injury just because, I fixed my running form. And through that story, it correlates with what a lot of sports officials go through. They'll go through year after year just getting themselves in better shape and faster, stronger. But yet, if you continue to do those movements that's going to create injury, that cause injuries, you're going to go right back to the same story of your injuries. And so at that time, John Perry, he got really good results. And at that time, he was one of the trainers for the CLC, which is the Big Ten, MAC, and Missouri Valley. So that year, he was like, Sean, can you go and do a presentation for us at our clinic? And I'm like, sure. And I came up, did my little talk, and it pretty much went from there, learning more and more about, officiating, the warm-up time that you guys have, and just learning more and more about it. And then I pretty much got to where I am right now. So that's what started me on the journey here for sports officials, at least.
Now, do you find a lot of times, and this question, a lot of times for officials, especially at the Power 5 level or anybody that's on TV, the stress is wait. You got to look good, just wait. So guys are overworking in the off season, trying just, to get the weight down, that they're not paying enough attention to the movements that they're making, their flexibility and stuff like that to last a season. Yeah.
Well, that comes along with, and sometimes that takes a couple years to be able to do that. One thing, and what I really stressed on this year in the clinics was body types. You can only look, so good according to your body type. And if you're trying to, if you can move, period. That's sort of the thing too. But people do, there's a time within your training that you got to focus on. Okay, if you want to lose weight, this is your time to do it. And I think that's mostly in like the postseason. If we're talking football officials, that time is pretty much like 7 to 8 months that, you can pretty much have time to do that. But when it comes to probably 10 to 12 weeks before your season starts, that's when you got to start doing your movement. So if you think of yourself as, as what these other the traditional professional athletes do, they do what they do to get themselves right. They lift, they run, they lose a little weight, but once that training camp comes, then it's time to play. Then it's time to play, and that same thing with officials. Then it's time to get your movement. Then it's time to do all the things that you need to do. But Krivon, to answer your question, it's like, there is a certain window. There is a big window, an opportunity for you to be able to lose that weight. But when it's like 10 to 12 weeks before your season, you have to focus on your movement, your game ready movements to prepare you for the season.
Makes sense, because once we get into the season, it's just about staying healthy, staying available, as and all athletes know. The best ability is availability.
We ain't athletes. We just get ready for the post game and make sure we were able to relax and enjoy that. You know what I'm saying?
we still got to be athletic. I'm sure there's times, even Coach Sean just said it a little bit ago, is, sometimes some people can move and some can't. I'm sure if you walked out there on the field or just even with a workout with somebody, just tell some people just don't have good running form per se. You know, you can see some of them officials and they look like a duck on one leg as they run. And it's not even an injury. It's just they just have a bad movement to them.
What they do too is if you think of sports, especially sports in America, you focus on playing the sport versus being coordinated with your body. And it's almost like you can see these kids, man, they can dribble a basketball up and down and they can do all sorts of stuff. You take that basketball away and have them run down and they just look as flimsy as all get out because they don't know how to control their body when they have nothing with them. But if that's one thing, I think that's got to be priorities is learning how to use your body. The more coordinated with your body, the more coordinated you are with other things. One thing I saw, it's funny, during my travels when I competed, I traveled to Europe a lot. And what I noticed, they had a lot of track camps. I mean, that was like first thing that they taught a kid was how to run. I mean, they take the big group of 40, 50 kids. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, this is amazing. Because, they're bringing these kids down, they teach them how to run. They're not giving them a soccer ball. They're not giving them a basketball. They're actually teaching these kids how to be coordinated with their own body. And I just thought that was amazing. In the U.S. is a little bit different, and the priorities are, fitness is priority, but body coordination. If everybody learned how to do it, it's like we all can run, but we all can eat too. But it doesn't mean we eat the right things. So I mean, that's sort of the concept of running. We all do it because we can.
So what you describing, Coach, is called PE back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They used to take us out there. We used to run. They're like, hey, you might want to fix, and then I guess I grew up in a bully era. So if you ran funny, you got talked about. So you have to fix your form on your own.
Yeah. Nobody teaches that because that's just something you can do. And yes, and there's some people that have a natural. There's some people that are just playing fast. Can it be taught? Yeah, it can be taught, just like teaching somebody how to swing a golf club or swing a bat. It's just technique. Some people naturally, people have it. Some people don't. Meaning don't have it naturally. So but you can teach it. And that's what I've been doing a lot with officials is teaching them, how to move because as we age, our flexibility is not as good. Our joints are not as good. So therefore, your running form becomes a lot more important. You take it for granted when you're young in your 20s or even in your teens, but as you get older, your running forms become a lot more important because it can be more detrimental to your body than what you think.
Yeah, because that's something picking up from you is like you said, when you backpedaling, as you get older, that dreaded Achilles pop is something. So you know how to place, backpedal, how to transition. So and then I think it's called, some of those soft tissue issues where you know what I'm saying, you want to how to work out and emphasize those areas. So, but again, I learned that this the good side, what I'm saying, that I want to bring up with you. What I'm saying? I'm going to transition to the smoke later. But what I'm saying? I want to give you all the credibility right now, what I'm saying?
I'll take it when I can.
So you take what you learn. So you go to you knock out the CFO clinic, COC clinic, right? So then the calls start coming in after you help John Perry with his issues, and I'm pretty sure word of mouth got down like, hey, if you want to work to extend your career, talk to so you got the techniques because, like you said, it's about keeping you on the field longer. So
yes, exactly.
And those calls start coming in.
Yeah. Man, hey, I'll help anybody that I have to, but it is. I mean, it's just something that we don't think about. We don't think about our movements. I think, especially if you've been officiating for a long time, there's slight changes that we have in our body that we don't realize, and that affects the rest of the body. I mean, one of the things is our feet. The fat pads from the bottoms of our feet deteriorate in time. Therefore, that you may have to change up the shoe. You may have to switch up the shoe that you're used to using because that pressure or that support in the bottom of that foot is not there. And anything that starts from the bottom of the foot affects the rest of the body.
Yeah.
So, that's why, I stress about the shoes, because, the shoes are very important too. If your shoes are if they're uncomfortable, it's going to affect the rest of the body, and that's going to affect, the longevity of how long you want to go and compete or officiate as well.
Because you bring up something that's important, because I think what got me on that path with the shoes, what I realized was I was working out and then running in shoes for a half marathon, and I realized I kept getting plantar fasciitis, or, my feet was just always hurting training.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's when I realized, I have to have different sets of shoes for things, running shoes, and then you just can't have running shoes all the time. There's a limit on those. So you got to, work those, tweak those.
Sure. But one thing I learned when I competed track-wise, I had a shoe for everything. I had a shoe for my sprint workout, had a shoe for my middle sprint workouts, meaning like for my 200, 300 workouts. I had a shoe for my plyometrics knives. I had a spike for my for when I actually got on the runway and jump. And so that, for one, that helped my shoes last a lot longer. But two, it just what for what you're doing, it just a lot of times people, like you say, you use one shoe for everything. You have to cater to the certain things that you do, even if and it's nothing wrong with having 4 or 5 pair of shoes, man. I still have them. I still keep that, those many shoes, and I still do the same thing. I got a shoe for basketball. I got a shoe for ultimate frisbee. I got a shoe for absolutely everything.
Hold up, bro.
Wait.
You got an ultimate frisbee shoe? Ain't them just flip flops?
Can't you do that in some Crocs?
No, man. We do that on turf. We just do that indoor turf, man. It's just a different feel. It's just a different feel, man. Because if your feet get a little bit sensitive and used to moving, they're sensitive to every type movement that you do. So you should.
Hey, man.
Now is that ultimate frisbee like a basketball pickup game? You just show up at the park, talk about I got next.
No.
They see you coming and like, oh yeah, we got him. We got him
in the ultimate frisbee league, man.
Right.
And then they see me changing my shoes. They be like, oh man.
Okay.
You like Charles Barkley on that I'm Capital One commercial playing with the little kids, right?
Nah.
Pass me the frisbee, throw it high, I'll go get it.
You know how it is back in the day. The dude who showed up with the new Jordans, new everything, was a scrub. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? He out there looking. He got everything like some old spikes, but he don't put some mud on the horse Asian shoes to con these dudes like, oh man.
No, man. But yeah, the deal is, man, just get different shoes for everything that you do, man, and make them last longer, and then you just get a feel of.
Now, Coach Sean, this is the unofficial lounge. We can't let this ultimate freeze.
Oh, come on now. That's for
we can't let this go. I'm gonna start googling some highlights. I'm sure you got some on YouTube. You dive in.
You look. I ain't no diver. I can run and catch. I can have them pointed and run. And I'll catch it, but that's almost my substitute for basketball. I usually play basketball. I haven't really been doing it, since COVID and all that stuff too. But it's just a fun sport that I can maintain and do sort of the rest of my life, other than golf. Golf that's going to be my lifetime deal there too. But it's all fun though.
Golf is a leisure sport. Ultimate frisbee is more of you. You got it. The way I know you're over there. You don't train like 20, 30 minutes before you even went out there and somebody threw a frisbee to you.
You right? Yep. Warm up. Warm up. You have all the elements in every sport. You run, you jump, you jog, you sprint, all that stuff. You got to prepare yourself for.
Right. So this ain't no casual ultimate frisbee. I see you over there. You don't got a bead of sweat on, and I'm like, okay, this serious. Like he ain't playing. So. Hey
man, it's fun. You get the right group. It's fun stuff, and it keeps my joints intact, man. You just gotta find what works for you. See, that's the thing about it. Find what works for you. So
he the dude.
I'll look some leagues for you at Shante when you wanna in your area. Get you out
I'm
there.
good.
Get you out there playing too. Oh,
Cause you the dude that everybody tired, like ready to go home. Like, nah, man, I warmed up. He ain't let nobody go home. Hey, man.
I will say though, Ashanti, over here on the other side, on my side of town, because those of me and Ashanti live in the same town. I was out running the other day in the morning past the park I run past pretty much every time I go out for a run, and all of a sudden it was just a bunch of dudes is on the the field, soccer field, football fields, just the open field out there, and it's just more and more people showing up. I'm about my second time around, and I'm sitting there like, hold on a minute. They playing frisbee. They had all their wives and girlfriends on blankets watching, and I mean these dudes was going at it. They was calling plays, and I was like, oh boy,
that's what he do. See, but I'm saying with Coach Sean though, you got to bring your own frisbee because if he bring his, you out there with him. He ain't leaving.
Oh man, it's good, man. It's all good, man. It's all about finding my place in fitness, man, in sports, and so you just gotta find it. It can be ultimate frisbee, it can be water polo, or whatever you can try to find that's to save your joints. That's the main thing, just to keep you going.
Now I will say, Coach Sean, you came to the Pac-12 clinic probably now, I would say 4 or 5 years ago. We were at Stanford, and you gave us a little on-field, probably 30, 45-minute session of not only pregame warm-up, but then like you said, really the transitioning, me being a line of scrimmage official, going from that shuffle to the run to now maybe having to, backpedal and not making that big step around. So kind of talk about that real quick. I know it's hard to, explain it without having the video stuff for it.
Yeah, the transition is probably where most of the injuries come from, because I think we can all pretty much run forward. We can all do the side shuffle and forward and backwards. We can do all that, but it's the transitions, the stopping and going, and from line of scrimmage official, the transition. And what I always say, big focus is to lower your center of gravity. In transition. So if you get a side slide, you turn, still keep everything low. And when you're running forward is to not overstride, especially on that first step. Because usually what a lot of people do when I teach and I observe, first thing they do off that over that side slide is overstride that foot. And when that foot goes out, as I explained, my hamstring injury, every time that foot extends over the hips, it puts the hamstring in a stretch position. And you do that more and more, then you're going to pretty much get a hamstring pull. So it's a fluid motion. I mean, if you do it right, but I mean it can be hard, but it just takes a lot of strength in certain muscle groups, and again, just keeping the center of gravity low and not overstride off the first stride coming off of the side slide.
Gotcha. It's been real helpful for me. I recommend anybody find a trainer or somebody in your area, or if you happen to be at one of the clinics that Coach Sean, pay attention. It's helpful, because the one thing about it, we want to do this for as long as possible, but once you start doing it at the big time level, to where now you're traveling, you got airplane rides, you're sitting in in that, and you're going from the field, working out, pop. It's really important for us to, take care of our body more in different ways of just outrunning, lifting weights, and just prepping for the season. It's just every little step that we make on the football field is important.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What you explained sound like a rich person problem. You know what I'm saying? It's ordinary people out there who gonna go to YouTube University and think and pick up some training techniques and wonder why they tweak their ankle, or they, their calves, or they cankles, So
what they do a lot too, I mean, there are a lot of videos that show how to run, but what they don't show is the different times of the run. So there's a different technique for the start, and there's a different technique for the acceleration, and different technique to maintain if you're doing like a long sprint. And there's also different techniques for transition. So people go on those videos and they look at it and like, okay, this is how you run. You move your arms full go, you lift up your knees and you move. Yeah, that's good if you're going 70, 80% of your speed. But as an official, you guys are accelerating. I mean, you got to learn to shorten those arm strides, accelerate, lean forward, all that. And, you know, when you go to a typical video on YouTube, they don't really describe that. And that's when it comes to educating is like, yeah, you can learn how to run, but it depends on what phase of running do you want to learn, because there's a different technique for the start. Again, different technique for every phase of running. And, you know, typically we find just one phase, and that's why they mess up their ankles and cankles and knees and all that stuff too. So
now, how important is the recovery of all this after the workout, after the games, no matter the sport that you officiate?
We ain't talking about the recovery drink.
No. You know, even after the ultimate frisbee competition, how important is the recovery outside of the adult beverage or two?
Well, the presentation of the recovery is going to determine how you feel the next day or the next couple of days of your training. And if you don't take, proper measures there, then you're not going to be at full capacity the next day. So, if you do a proper recovery, you drink your protein, you get a little bit of carbohydrate, then the next day you can probably be at, 90 to 95% capacity in terms of the injury, in terms of feeling good and pretty much ready to go. Versus if you don't, then what happens is, you're probably up to 60 or 70% capacity energy of being able to do something. And then if you attempt to work out, then that puts you more prone to injury because you're not at that high energy or recovery type state of the way you should be. And it also explains a lot of how a lot of football officials, any official, I would say that officials that when they're done with the game, they rush off, and you understand they got to go depending upon your level. Some of you guys, again, some of you guys are catching flights. Some of you guys are driving home. Some of you guys, maybe, a short trip. But just taking that time of recovery with the stretch and the eating is going to make a huge difference and determine what your body's going to feel like the next day. So recovery is definitely key. And all it is time. I mean, you can go as far as icing your knees. One thing I used to do when I played basketball, since we played on hard court, I used to sit in the lobby of my gym and put ice packs on my knees. And what happens when you see somebody with ice packs on your knees? They come.
Oh man, you hurt?
Oh man,
yeah, you hurt exactly. Oh man.
Look at them.
Yeah. And I tell it's like, man, I just recovered, and they say. And I say, you have bad knees? And I'm like, no, this is the reason why I don't have bad knees, is because I ice my knees after a workout. And, you don't look at things from a precautionary standpoint. They always do it after it happens. So I did that, for a long time, still do. I'll get, if I'm running rough, I'll put ice, and I get the same thing. People say, oh, Sean, what's going on? Why you got ice? I'm like, I do this to prevent the injury versus not having it, and then people follow my lead. There's some people come and do that, and what happens? They get the same thing. Oh, did you hurt yourself? And said, no, Coach Sean said I just do this to prevent injury, and that's what happens. It's just this is a lot of little things that all it takes is time. It's just a time issue that helps for the recovery, and that will determine what your next day training is going to be, and kind of keeping the flow of your, if you want to keep the flow of your training, if it's like a 4-day-a-week routine or 5-day routine, the recovery is going to determine how well those 4 to 5 days a week training is going to be.
All right, because I know that, but then too, talking to some, just being around football officials, me and Cravon know, it's some guys come with that ointment that might have came from Drago, you know what I'm saying? And as soon as he opened it, it just burns everybody's eyes.
Just run the room out. Just, man.
You talking about Bengay?
No, it's that Russian. I don't know where they getting this illegal substance from. It's
Right.
from black market stuff.
But
Oh man,
There's
it
no
smells so
label.
bad.
Yeah, it's something that has no label on it, and when it
what
opens,
it
someone
says?
open it.
XXX on it.
We don't know.
XXX.
You know what I'm saying?
So no ingredients. I stay away from stuff like that, man. Something like that. What is it though? I have no
It's
idea.
some type of ointment, coach. I'm just saying because I'm laughing on like, man, where did you get that stuff from? And they putting it on, and it's like you said, okay, you got to do it. That's another thing too. You got to do a dynamic stretch before you stretch. So it's like you can't just put that on thinking it's going to help relieve something. And
so you gotta do something. You gotta do something before it burns through your legs or something. Is that how it works?
nah, they just do that. That's their warm up. You know what I'm saying?
That's their warm up. They don't do no. They just put the ointment on. It heats it up. It feel hot. Okay, I'm ready to go.
If you thought Tiger Balm was strong, yeah, nah, it's stronger than that.
I have a story with that bomb stuff, man. Oh man, when I was
What's
in high
the
school, before I knew before I had any sense, when I was 6th grade, I pulled my groin in like 10th grade. It was a high groin. And my coach was like, you gotta get that. He said, you gotta get that thing right. You guys know where I'm going though. Like, he said, you got
You had them hot peanuts. That's what you tell me. You had them hot peanuts.
This was like a slow way. It was a slow way. So yeah, you're right. Long story short, yes. But he had me said, put the stuff on. I said, okay. And I had no idea. I'm a little kid, young 2-year-old kid. And I put this thing up high, and I'm like, okay, I put it on, and that was cool. I put it down, down my legs there, and I go to class. I'm sitting in class, whatever, and I'm just sort of sitting there. Then it was sort of seeping up, and then I'm sort of moving my legs a little bit, and that was the worst thing to do, move your legs. And the biggest mistake I did was cross my legs, and that made contact. And then I'm sitting there moving around, and teacher's like, Sean, you all right? I'm like, nope, I'm not all right.
Got a case of them hot nuts.
I got the hot nuts, man. It was
Boston baked beans.
Worst experience in those things, man. I said, I gotta go. And man, I was out that door, and I don't know how I cleaned it up, but I did make it worse. This stuff seeps, man, because I was sweating. Woo,
Yes.
boy.
Yes.
Yeah, but not no more. I ain't put none more of that stuff on my leg to this day.
And for anybody that has experienced that, it's no quick fix. It still take a while for
you gotta
cool
ride
down.
it out. You gotta ride it out literally. I did, man. I was sitting there moving my legs and open my. Oh man, it was really bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, I knew where you was going when you said that.
Yeah, I know. High growing pool. Yeah, you knew where I was going there.
Oh
bad.
man.
It was bad. You learn. You live and learn. You live and learn about this stuff. But I understand. In terms of whatever the ointment does. I mean, there are some ointments that warm up the legs and sort of get it going. If it works for them, cool. I said if that works.
Nah, coach. Let me describe the scenario.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
I ain't painting the picture for you. So
you
imagine a guy probably ain't been at the gym in like 10 years.
Have not been at the gym?
Yeah, not at the gym.
Okay.
He got the ointment. He put that on. He slathered that up. He's slathering that on like it's lotion.
Okay.
And he was like, this ain't strong no more. And then he got the knee wraps and then the old school thigh. He ain't wearing bikie pants or compression shorts. He wearing an old thigh bandage and the ace wrapping everything up and saying, I can't move like I used to. And it's like, bro, if you know what I'm saying? If you got a hobby called go to the gym, it'll work.
Yeah.
What'd you say to that?
Man,
what's your best Coach Sean motivation speech to that?
Go to the gym.
Because he's
like
listening.
Said,
that person is listening.
Here's my number.
Okay. Go to the track. Go do some movement. That mummy wrap ain't gonna do nothing for you. It may help a little bit. Whatever that ointment is, you gotta do a lot more than that. It's just like people going on a grapefruit diet. They just dictate the group grapefruit and think it's gonna lose calories there. No, it's not gonna work. You gotta do more than that.
if I eat this grapefruit before I eat that full stack of pancakes, it's gonna, erase the pancakes away, right?
It's gonna burn it out.
Right, it's gonna burn it off.
Negative.
The acid from the grapefruit is gonna burn off the calories from the full stack of pancakes, right?
That's what they
Diet
want
Coke
you to
help
think.
that, Cravon.
Yeah.
The Diet Coke.
The Diet Coke, yeah, the low sugar content on, that'll do it. That'll do it too.
But but I'm not gonna dwell. So like I said, you see that once or twice. Even at this level, though, Cravon, there are guys who really don't. They wait till the season to start their prep, and it's kind of late.
But let's be honest. A lot of people, in sports science and things that has transitioned, we look at the athletes today compared to, before when we were all kids. It was a difference, even when we trained, when we were still participating in sports ourselves, you trained when it was time to go to Hell Week or whatever the case may be. That's when most started. It wasn't.
But I was young and in shape.
Right.
You gotta,
but if that's the mentality that you grew up with, it's kind of hard now you trying to tell somebody to change their lifestyle to where all of a sudden now it's preparation year round. So I understand what you're saying, Ashante, and I agree with you, but it's a lifestyle change to where you got guys that's how they grew up with, like the season's coming, so let me prep now for the season, not thinking about what I needed to do beforehand, and that's
and popping those 15 of leaves at halftime.
Old man, I call it the old man vitamin. That's what I call it. The old man vitamin.
Exactly.
Do that too. Yeah. They do that. But you're right, because I think when I grew up too, I did maybe I did basketball, track, and I did a few camps, and I just prepared, just when the season started. But then as I, grew to, college athletics, stuff like that, you go to any college sport, it's an all-around sport.
Yeah.
I mean, they train all year round. So there's no such thing as chilling, a semester. I mean, either you getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, getting that pool or getting that weightlifting, or you got practice in the afternoon. So, but yeah, I mean, it is an old school that a lot of people think that, they prepare, within that time. And a lot of times, people just don't know what to do. And my thing is, you don't have to run and do all your officiating patterns or side slides. You don't have to do that 12 months out the year. All I recommend is, give yourself, 10 to 12 weeks or so before the season and start, moving your body. Because obviously if you do that, I think what happens is the older you get, the more you do that, the more wear and tear you're going to put on the body anyway. That just sort of just goes with the territory. So, outside of that 10-week window, you can swim, you can do the bike, you can do all the stuff that's totally opposite of what you do in officiating. But again, once you get that pre-camp mentality, again, 10 weeks before, now you got to start, doing the officiating movements for the body. But, like I said, it's ever changing. It is tough to sort of, get a lot of the old school guys to think about that. But, but there's a new wave coming in of people.
See, hold up. I'm going to hit you up because that new wave come in wearing medium shirts, you know what I'm saying? And
extra medium shirts.
And they drinking protein smoothies. Like, come on, bro.
Hey, man, it's coming. The technology and information, it comes younger and younger. Back when I competed, with Carl Lewis, Paul Lewis, the stuff that they did was a state secret. I mean, the stuff that they did, these kids know now when they're like 10, 12 years old. So now these kids are developing faster, younger in life now. I mean, if you look at if you look at the Olympics, this year, I was all on the Olympics here. If you look at the age group, like the female that won the 800,
she like young.
19 years old, silver medalist. She was 19 years old too. So it's like two young, kids doing that. So what's going on is they're learning a lot of this stuff. They're all doing the protein shakes. They're doing all the stuff that we never really had access to when we were younger in terms of information and film. A lot of that stuff a lot of stuff that's out right now was probably black market when we were back in the day. Now it's relatively safe and everybody can get their hands on it. But I think that's one thing that's,
also,
it helps.
Other thing changed too is the diet.
But them young bucks though, let's just talk about those. Them young bucks are learning a lot of things early and they're developing faster. But what the young bucks, even in officiating, what they have to realize is just because you can wear that extra medium shirt, you got the shape and the look. You better look at some of them old vets and get the experience, because if you look at a person, if we talk about the Olympics, you talk, female athlete, you have Allison Felix that's out there. What was this?
Yeah.
Olympics number 5. And she's still getting it done. And that goes from experience more than it does that she is in, not saying she's not in her best shape, but she's not in the peak shape of her life. And she's still, getting on the podium.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all about, they just got to learn that. And another thing too, and, you got to be, just be careful with your lifting, because, some kids or officials probably doing, and I'll go down to kids, they're doing a lot of lifts that they probably should not be doing.
Yeah.
And it may not affect them then. It may not affect them the next 5 years, but it may affect them maybe early in their adulthood. And like, man, why is my joints hurting? And so that's one thing that I find amazing with the younger kids. I'm like, why are you hurt? You in 6th grade with a knee brace. What are you doing with a knee brace? You're too young to have that. And so what it is because of the fact there's so much information out there, too much, that these kids want to do what these elite athletes do, and they pound themselves too much. But again, it just all depends upon the individual. What my job is to do is just to help our officials find their own, and knowing to push them to not only another level, but to be able to maintain that level as well. Because there's it is, like you said, it's just that experience thing that we all got to have and continue to find, because our body is ever changing. What works when you were 20, 21 years old may last you to like 25. Then you got to change things up. So from 25 to 30, you may have to change things up. Then it may switch off when you're 30. So a lot of people don't like change. If it's something that you're good at, like if you're playing basketball and you're real good at basketball, and somebody says, well, you can't play basketball anymore. Now you got to play hockey. And you're like, man, you suck at hockey. And it's like, man, why I got to do that? And so that's just like a change that people just don't like because you're good at, but yet you got to do it for the greater good of your body. And I think that's the hardest decision people make as they get older, because you can conquer certain lifts and it just builds your confidence, but then your confidence drops and you got to change to something that you're not as good at. But, you build a talent for everything that you continue to work for. Or work at it for.
Again, inspirational, Coach. You're very inspirational, but I still got heat. I got beef with you, though.
Oh, you got beef. Okay, all right.
The beef ain't gonna die.
He is still the angry vegetarian. You need to come up with something other than you got beef with somebody, because you ain't got beef with nobody. You ain't had a piece of beef in 14 years, bro. You need something else other than I got beef. You ain't got no beef.
We got that's how serious it is. I don't eat it. I got an issue with you, Coach. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go. Okay, so I'm gonna ask. So what's one of so you get the call, and how you're able to establish this relationship with the conferences? Like now you're going to different conferences, and that word getting out, like, hey man, I could prolong movements. Or I talked to a guy who helped me recover from something I always had. Like how you're able to keep, branch out.
And usually, like I said, I think I got to where I am right now, again, just by word of mouth. And, just people, if they continue to get the results, they're going to talk. And everybody wants to, do this for a long time. And I think, officiating is like the coolest job, the best side job you can have. And, I tell people that, it really is. And if you establish yourself, but, and a lot of you guys want to do it for a long time. But in terms of my marketing, again, it's always been word of mouth. I try to throw things on, social media for people to see. But I think people don't really see it, from a video standpoint. I think they'll see it more from from hearing it from somebody else. And this is new. I mean, I tell you, when I first started doing this, man, I had so many doors closed in my face in terms of trying to, promote this. I tried to promote this to even our local association in Ohio, and they're like, nah, we good. And it was just a hard fight to really get going. And I think the only way that it's really going to move is as the next wave of people that have come in and understanding, how important it is to get their fitness from the jump. So if you're ready now, you don't have to get ready later on. Because right now, a lot of guys that are, getting it and understanding it, they're playing catch up.
Yeah.
But again, the new wave is going to do that. And like I said, for supervisors, it's got to be important for the supervisors to get their guys fit. If it's not important to them, it's not going to really be important for the rest of the guys. And so those are the guys that, that have to be sold by it and be able to do it. I mean, Coleman, he's fitness oriented. He's like, yeah, this is what it's important to him. Therefore, he's going to do that. Corolla for the Big Ten is important for him, so he wants to do that. So it's got to dwindle down to the other guys that it just has to be important. If it's not important, it's not gonna draw in. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's how I'm trying to mark myself. I'm trying to say it's important. Listen to him, and and it's an investment. Yeah, it's most certainly an investment. But
if you don't invest in your body, someone else will.
Somebody else will invest in your spot. Right?
Yeah.
Because
exactly. Yeah.
It's like, and another thing too. I joked about the Ben Gay, the ointment guy, the special ointment guy, but now that's a new trend too. Cravon, the guy coming in with the muscle machine.
Oh yeah,
massage gun.
Massage guns.
The massage gun.
The one they got from the back of the swap meet.
And it's so loud, it ain't no but a drill.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody eardrums rupture because the thing.
Hey, but you know what though? Those things are good.
If you know how to use them.
Exactly. It's that. I mean, the massage gun, I say it's like a dumbbell. It's like a weighted dumbbell. You got to figure out how to use it, but it's a good thing if you know how to use it. But people, if they truly bring in different trinkets to help themselves. That's one thing that helps, loosen the body if you know how to use it. Exactly. That's just like anything else.
So, but yeah, that's the new thing. Even the foam rollers, even a resistance band. It's different techniques out there. Because I brought that in, and people looked at me like, man, what the hell? What you got doing? What you doing?
Hey, I will say it's a cheat code now. You have certain companies now that have them that will hook up to your Bluetooth, and they'll walk you through the video. It would, the settings that it need to be on and everything. They'll walk you straight through the video, people. Don't just pull it out the bag and just start rubbing it around your body and thinking that you're doing something.
Not the one you get for $15, but
no.
It just come on.
The one that you see on Facebook for, $13.95 ain't it.
With free shipping.
Free shipping, and you got. I mean, a lot of those things you just got to learn how to use for your benefit. I say it's like one of those machines. If you can't afford to, get a full massage or weekly massage, that's like the next best thing. Like the massage, what it does, it just breaks down the scar tissue in your body, and the biggest reason why you want that scar tissue broken down is because it prevents your muscles to pull. It prevents tightness in the muscle, because scar tissue in your muscle creates, there's no flexibility there. So the massage gun does, it just breaks it down, the known and unknown scar tissue within the area. And but just again, you got to use it right. You can't be pressing it on one area for like 10 minutes. Then you really start busting up the muscle from there. So
okay,
so it's all about educating yourself on certain things that you do, certain things that you use, and as a trainer, I'm never closed-minded on ideas, exercises, trinkets that are out there, because I got to continue to learn. Again, fitness is an ever learning
Evolution.
world, and it is, and I gotta be up on it, on certain new things. But I was never up on that ab machine that said 5 minutes a day will give you your abs toned. I was never up on that one.
You mean you ain't on I just can't plug it in and just shake and I just sit here.
You ain't on the shake weight? The shake weight didn't work out?
Man, the shake weight was one of the most hilarious things that I've ever seen in my life.
What was the other one? It wasn't just the shake weight. It was the vibrating band they had for a while there. You just shake the band.
So if I drank some flat tummy tea, is that considered Gatorade too?
Flat tummy tea.
Yeah, I get some flat tummy tea, drink that like water. How that gonna work for me?
I ain't gonna do nothing for you. It's all of it is deceiving. You think, but you know what the wording that they say now? It's like with the when the ab roller, they be sneaking in stuff like, okay, with 5 minutes a day, with 2 hours a day of workout and eating right. So they sneak that in the small writings on the bottom.
Proper diet,
right?
Proper diet, yeah, that too. And people see that, but I ain't get results with it. You gotta write that small writing now.
Right.
That small writing is going to get you. So they do that to sort of protect themselves, but it's never one piece of equipment or one particular movement that's going to create you to lose weight or get fit. It's a variety of everything. And a lot of people don't have that variety. Some people don't have the patience. If you don't have that, that's when you hire a trainer to at least guide you. If that's what you want to do. Some people don't. Some people want it easier for them, and people get the tummy tucks and
the DR
go to suction.
Go to Colombia, Costa Rica.
Well, I ain't talking about trying to lose an organ. I'm talking about
So
you lose a little bit of weight from organ. There's no fat now.
Now, one thing I would say with personal training for a lot of people is it's about that trust, right? And that because a lot of people will come, like you say, some people aren't certified. They're in shape themselves, but they're not showing. How do you build that trust with your clients? I
mean. And that's the biggest thing that I have to do is show trust, and by doing that is catering to their needs, and what I'm gonna say by their needs is by what their body again is capable of doing. So I'll hear stories that somebody said, well, this somebody tried to have me do 200-pound squats and my knees were aching, and they still said push. And I'm like, well, that's not, the training that you want. The trust is being able to, for one, tell them the truth. and a lot of times they don't want to hear the truth. Sometimes they want to say, well, I want to lose this much weight in this much time. And my next question is, well, what you going to do when you lose the weight? What's going to be your motivation after you lose the weight, your goal weight? Then they'll sit there and scratch their head because they don't know what to say because they have a certain goal in their mind. The trust that I give them is it may not be, a month. It may not be 2 months. It may not 3 months. I tell them the truth on certain goals and then give them a sort of perspective what they need to do after they achieve their goals. Because a lot of them don't know what to do. Because if you're trying to lose weight, lose 20 pounds and say you lose 15 and you use the whole weight, and then what happens is they go back to their same lifestyle when they lose that weight. And what happens? They gain the weight, and they probably gain a little bit more after that. So it's a step-by-step process.
It come back strong.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing wrong.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Come back real strong.
It come back strong, boy.
Yeah, I mean, the process is I just don't overwhelm them with all stuff. And I tell them, like, if you're going to do this, you look me in the eye. Is this going to be a commitment that you're going to do the rest of your life? And we're not talking 5 months where you're going to, and it doesn't necessarily them training with me. It's just giving them an idea of, this isn't just something temporary. I mean, in order for this to work, you got to continue to work. For me, fortunately, I've been in shape, for the majority of my life. And
you were mediums, bro.
And I still put in 6 days a week, 2 hours of workout. I still work out like I'm trying to lose weight, but that's just me. But that's the concept that I'm trying to teach people. But when you deceive them and tell them, well, this will get you here and that, then that's when you lose the trust. I'm very honest with my people. It's like, okay, so it's not going to be this long. It may take this long. If it does, cool. If not, then we just keep working. Because why? You're going to keep working out the rest of your life. So you're going to get there eventually. And I think that's what people think. People think, their fitness journey is just temporary. So if you're with me, I'm trying to get you to do this the rest of your life. And not just, a small period of your life, because I continue to tell them why it's important and how bad it can be as we get older, trying to play catch up. We're trying to lose weight and trying to do certain things with your body that's probably not capable of doing it with age.
Yeah, because I'm what I picked up from you, Coach Sean, you're trying to develop long-term clients instead of short-term.
Not necessarily. Well, not necessarily. Depending, but yeah.
But because now, if I think about it, what you're saying is, I'm not in it just so you feel like you can get your goal in 6 months. I'm here to work on you to change your lifestyle and help you evolve.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
See?
Yeah. Yeah,
see, you almost try to come at me.
And like that, tell them to say, it doesn't have to be me. You don't have to train with me the rest of your life. You can train me once in a while, and then continue going. Then once they understand it, then they can pretty much doing their own.
Yeah.
The way I educate my people, I train them trying to pretty much make myself obsolete. I teach my clients to train themselves, and I think that's important because I'm only with them for so much of the time. So they got to learn how to go on their own, and then once they learn that, then they go on their own. And cool, they'll go off for a few months or a year or so. Then they'll come back for an upgrade, of their workouts, and they do that. That's sort of how I work. But I do have people I've been with, for 10 years, straight. I've had people that I had for a long period of time. But then I have a lot of people that want, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just to get them started.
Got you.
So, but it is building trust. So.
That's cool. So I want to hit again. I'm about to set you up. So what's one of your career accomplishments that makes you the most proud?
That make me the most what? Sorry?
Makes you the most proud.
Probably when somebody sits down and tells me, like, thank you for the results, and that goes, beyond my fitness clients. This goes for my officials, for after I do. So a lot of times after I do my clinics, I'll get emails and they Coach Sean, man, I felt good. I didn't feel this hurt. And, what you said was right on point, stuff like that. It makes me feel proud to help people, sustain, either their fitness or be able to sustain and continue their officiating careers. Cause that's what we're in for. We're in for, the longevity is it. Play long, stay strong. That's my book I have coming out later on, and that's what it does. It just teaches them how to sustain their own bodies, and I'm proud when they say they got those results.
Okay, so now I'm gonna hit you up with my beef.
Right? Okay.
No. With your asparagus, not beef.
No.
That's right. You got
I don't
no
like
beef.
asparagus.
Okay. You got no beef, baby.
We gonna say this is what the kids say. We got some smoke.
All right, we got some smoke.
All right, so this goes back. There's a lot of stories that happen at Tate Consult, and it's called Griffin now. Well, I wasn't in the room this one particular day, and someone said you gave this speech when you were talking to the group. And when I walked in, someone was like, man, Coach Sean was talking right about you. And he told me the reason why you're angry because you need to eat protein, and all vegetarians are angry because they eat protein. I was like, man, who is Coach Sean? Like, wait, he don't know me.
But he has met you. He has met you many times, so he knows what he's talking about. Or an angry vegetarian.
I ain't angry vegetarian.
But if you ever angry, put some meat in that mouth, baby. Get some chicken in there, my man.
At least get you to be quiet before you say something you're not supposed to.
That ain't gonna help, bro. I don't
management, man. Get a burger in your system, my man.
They got Impossible Burgers in Begun.
Oh man, don't even tell me about those Impossible Burgers. They are impossible to eat. That's what those things are, man.
You see?
But you, Sasha, you know, I have nothing against, you know, vegetarians. Man. I have nothing against it.
Yes, you do. You said my people angry.
No, Ashanti. He said you.
No, he said my people. Most vegetarians are angry.
If they're angry, they need to eat meat. Period. That's my thing. I mean, there's something going on in their bodies. Maybe something going on in their bodies that they need to. If you're vegetarian, you cool. If you're vegetarian, you cool. That's fine. Like I said, I have nothing against it. But if your body isn't responding right, if you're not doing the things that, you know, I mean, your body needs certain nutrients.
Yes.
That's just, and your
Facts.
body will talk to you. Your body will talk to you if you need certain things that affect you mentally and physically. But if you're able to do those adjustments as a vegetarian, you're fine. You got nothing to worry about. But if you're starting to get other adjustments, I tell people you have to make adjustments. I understand.
It's good how you cleaning this up, bro. I appreciate you, Coach. But at that moment, and I talked to you after that, and you was like, "Yeah, I trained a lot of vegetarian, but I ain't gonna get into it because I know, again, you know what I'm saying. Again, I'm gonna end it on that with Crayvon. Coach, how can they contact you? And I know, like you said, you got a book coming out. When the book do?
Oh man, I got the book. It's called Play Long, Play Strong, and again, it's just based on how to work your own body. You know, I don't have exercise in it. It's pretty much like a guideline that teaches you the limits and stuff that you should have no matter what age that you're in. But for me, contact me. I'm on social media, Facebook. Just look up Game Ready, Coach Sean. I don't know the particulars of it, but you look it up. You can find me. My number is 330-697-2189. If you want to call or text, but you know, if you're in the officiating world, you'll probably find me somewhere. That's what I'm trying to get at it and get you guys right and keep you guys going as long as you want to go. Longevity is the key.
So is the book available now, or are you still working on the book?
It's not. It was like
okay.
Probably a couple months, and then I'm gonna have a release from my social media and text, and you guys will know.
We'll push it out.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'll angrily push it out for you, Coach.
Oh, okay, all right. It'd be good. You'd be all right. Even Sean said you'll like it. You won't be as angry when you read it. So
well, Coach Sean, we really appreciate you coming on the Unofficial Lounge, giving a part of your day to hang out with us. I have to apologize for the vegetarian as part of the group.
No, we gotta apologize too, Coach, because he normally
just has some issues.
No, we don't. We normally have more sound effects, but Monty had technical issues, so
that's all right.
So yeah, we would have had more bombs and sound effects for you. We forgot to hit the play that button. Monty hit that button, so Monty went away. You know what I'm saying? So we always have one episode where somebody don't finish, and it was Monty. I'm glad it wasn't me.
Because normally it's you when the kids in the neighborhood come back and repossess their internet.
Hey man, these kids need to get their education. Take away my bandwidth. You know
they say, stand outside your window like, what's your password? Get you going. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure, man. This is always fun, baby, to talk and educate and inform all my fellow officials, man. It's been good. It's been good.
All right. Appreciate you, Coach, man. Thank you.
All
right. Talk to you soon.
All right, see you.
Stay tuned for the next episode. We have Pac-12 referee Michael Mothershed.
And, my wife fully supports, football and what I do. I don't think you can do it unless you have the support, because it can create too many issues. So I have the support of my family, and that's great.
Stay tuned for future episodes. We have newly retired NFL umpire Ruben Fowler.
Who you know, but I think it's more about who knows you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Remember to please like and subscribe, as the Unofficial Lounge is available on all your podcast streaming outlets, including Apple, Google, Spotify, and Anchor. We look forward to you joining us next time in the Unofficial Lounge.